Welcome back to our MATLAB machine learning tutorial series. In the last video, we loaded our dataset into MATLAB. Today, we will take the next crucial step, splitting our data into training and testing sets. Here's a quick outline of the process. You might be wondering, why 80% for training and 20% for testing? This is a common practice because it strikes a good balance between teaching the model and evaluating its performance. The majority of data is used to learn patterns, while the smaller portion is reserved for testing, ensuring the model is evaluated on unseen data for a fair performance check. Alright, let's start coding. We will begin by finding out how many rows of data we have in our dataset. I am adding a comment first to explain this step. It's always a good habit to include comments, as it makes the code easier to understand later. Here, I'm using the size function to find the total number of rows in our text data. This gives us the total number of examples in the dataset, which we will use to split the data. Next, we'll partition the data into training and testing sets. I am using the holdout method to reserve 20% of the data for testing. The CV partition function allows us to split the data. We use the holdout option with zero point 0.2, meaning 20% of the data is set aside for testing, while the remaining 80% will be used for training the model. But why 80 ratio 20? The reason is that training a model requires a large amount of data to learn patterns effectively, while testing only needs a smaller portion to evaluate how well the model generalizes to new unseen data. This ratio is widely used in machine learning because it provides a good balance between learning and evaluation. Here, we're creating our training dataset using the training CVP function, which identifies the rows reserved for training. We're selecting 80% of the data and storing it in the data train variable. And similarly, we use the test CVP function to select the remaining 20% for testing. This data will be used later to evaluate our model's performance on new data. Now that we've executed the code, let's check the workspace to see the new variables. Here, we can see data train, which holds 80% of the data for training, and data test, containing the remaining 20% for testing. I'll double click on data test. This is the subset of data we'll use later to evaluate the model's performance on unseen data. Now, let's look at data train to show you how the data is stored. These are the training examples we'll use to teach our machine learning model. That's how you split your dataset into training and testing sets using MATLAB. By using 80% for training and 20% for testing, we ensure that our model learns effectively while also being evaluated on new data. In the next video, we will move on to data preprocessing to get our data ready for model training. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.